Hello there. I am King Rock. This is my first ever draft analysis. We're doing a draft analysis of my team for PDD Season 3. The draft is currently still going on, but I have all of the mons that I want, so that's, good enough for me. So, with my first pick, I took Slowking Galar. It is a mon that has been in existence since Gen 8. I think it actually got introduced after I was already into draft, and I've always wanted to use it and just, never took it, because Shaded usually takes it in like round 1. And it is really good, especially now in Gen 9 that it got chilly reception. In Gen 8 it was mostly like, a really cool assault vest mon, and now like an assault vest, it avoids it like the plague because of chilly reception. And a really, really useful support move pool. You got Sludge Bomb, T-Wave, Toxic Spikes, Future Sight, effectively a support move. What I really like about chilly reception is it's not only a pivoting move, it is also like sort of a table setter for if you have mons that can abuse snow. And a problem with weather in draft is that a lot of times the setters are both terrible and struggle to get the mons onto the field safely. Slowking has regen and a pivot move that starts the snow, so you always get your mon in with the maximum number of snow turns to sort of wreak havoc. Yeah, this is just a very good mon all around. Regen. I wanted to use Eerie Spell, but I found out that it only has 8 PP, and learned why nobody uses Eerie Spell. So with my second pick, I wanted something that pairs well with Slowking Galar. And, dark types, fighting types, something to handle, the ghosts or the dark types that want to attack Slowking Galar. And I also realized my team did not have a Samurai Hisui on it. Samurai Hisui is a mon that it is my friend. When I did the Smogon What Pokemon Are You quiz, I got Samurai Hisui, which makes sense. It is probably my favorite mon ever in terms of draft. Ceaseless Edge is just such a wonderful button. It has the best words of any move in the entire game. Setting up spikes while getting boosted to the same base power as Knockoff on Ceaseless Edge, and actually does more damage over 2 turns than Knockoff, so it's a more consistent damage option, except for the accuracy. Yeah. It also has a surprisingly good kit apart from the move. Sharpness boosts a lot of its other stabs as well, like Razor Shell or Aqua Cutter. It has dual priority in Aqua Jet and Sucker Punch. It has some useful support moves in like Taunt, Encore. Flip Turn is effectively a support move. And it has 2 like 120 base power and 130 base power 0 drawback coverage moves in X-Scissor and Sacred Sword because of sharpness. So overall, a really good Pokemon. Now with these two, I have like a lot of roles compressed into 2 Pokemon because Slowking Galar and Samurai Hisui really just have a lot of great words associated with their moves. So I wanted a Pokemon that could just, nuke the other team with big damage. So with my third pick, I took Landowai. Landowai is a mon that gets a lot of hate in the draft community, and I'm not really sure why. I mean, look at this, it's an Uber. It's really, really strong. People think they are prepared for it, and then you can bust out like a support set and just rely on the fact that Sheer Force boosted Earth Power, even uninvested, is 2-hit KOing non-resists. It's a surprisingly consistent rocker as well, because you really only ever need like 2 attacking moves on it: Earth Power and move to kill the mons that are not killed by Earth Power. It lost Rock Polish this gen, but it did maintain Gravity, which is far more important to it in my opinion. One of my favorite Gen 8 sets of Landowai was actually Earth Power, Gravity, Nasty Plot, Rock Polish. Or, I guess it would be SD. Or I guess that would be Nat. Anyway. Anyway. Yeah. It gained Nasty Plot this gen, actually. It's a really, really strong breaker. It has a pretty trollish 101 base speed tier, so it outspeeds all the base 100s like Chi-Yu, and just, you know, spreads Earth Power fun. It's also a ground immunity, which is important because it's the only one in this team, and it's a good fighting resist, which provides some backup for King, which is the other main fighting resist on the team. Now, with my fourth pick, when I draft Samurai Hisui, I usually draft Rapid Spin alongside it. It's very important, in my opinion, to have a spinner with Samurai Hisui, because you don't want to be defogging away your own hazards, and you don't want to run boots on everything when you have Samurai Hisui. You want your opponent to be forced to run boots on everything, and then you knock off those boots, and then you win the game. That is how you play Samurai Hisui offense. And usually I pair Samurai Hisui with Donphan. However, in this particular case, I took Landorus Incarnate, so I could not then take Donphan or a Donphan Paradox form as my Rapid Spinner. And, like, every Rapid Spinner apart from one other besides the Donphan Armada, in my opinion, just doesn't really cut it. Well, really two, Bramblegast and my fourth pick, Cyclizar. Cyclizar, or as I sometimes call it, Baby Torn, has the exact same speed as Tornadus. It doesn't really have its offensive power, but its offensive stats are good enough to still be scary. It has the Torn stuff, which is regen, U-turn, knockoff. And has the big, stupid, somewhat unreliable stab move like Torn with Draco Meteor. And it also learns, like, basically every coverage move, which is really useful for a really fast Mon with good mixed offensive stats. And it's, in my opinion, the fourth best Rapid Spinner in Scarlet and Violet, after the Donphans. Might even be better than just base Donphan. Yeah, really, really strong Mon. Cyclizar is also going to be my first Terra Captain. With this league, we have 25 Terra points, which go with the points, and you have to buy the types, but you get one for free. And so Cyclizar is going to be Terra Fairy as an additional, like, auxiliary fighting check. It's going to be Terra Dragon because that's free, and it gives it, like, a really strong, like a boosting option almost to, if I want to run, like, Shift Gear, which it is a very good Shift Gear Mon, especially with Terra. After last season, I really like having a Terramon that can boost its attack and speed. I just think that is really broken, especially with, like, Terra Fairy. And my last Terra type, Terra Ghost. Now, the reason I'm Terra Ghost is, one, I don't have a Ghost on the rest of the team, spoilers. But also, there are a lot of Terra Captains in, like, the 12 and 11 point tiers that get extreme speed and want to, like, spam banded or SD boosted E-speed, and I realized that sort of runs my team, so I decided the best way to get around that was Terra Ghost Cyclizar, which completely invalidates it. Now, I've already packed a bunch of utility into my 3 of my first 4 picks, with Landawai sort of just being a generic good offensive Mon, so of course I'm going to take more utility with the next pick and take Tinkaton. At 8 points, Tinkaton is a steal. Quite literally. It is the main steel type of this team. It's kind of also the main fairy, but it doesn't resist fighting, which is kind of what I want a fairy to do on this team, so kind of Cyclizar is the main fairy. But Tinkaton gets Knockoff and Encore and Stealth Rock, so of course it's an incredible Pokemon. The bar is like the floor of a Mon with those 3 moves is already through the roof. Possessing, like, decent speed, great Spadef, and a really powerful button in Gigaton Hammer, which makes up for the fact that its attack stat is 75, is really, really, really useful. And it's very good at beating all the other fairies in the format I have found using it in PAC. Although with Cloaking, that's a little less important, but it's just a very good mon. It denies setup with Encore. It can run Air Balloon Pickpocket to take away items. Somehow this always ends up with me having a Choice Scarf, but that's fine. I also really like Rocky Helmet Pickpocket, just to switch in on knockoffs, because you're a little more punishing than another Rocky Helmet mon switching in on a knockoff. And that can sometimes be really cool. Yeah. Tinkaton, great mon, great roll compression. So now with my first 5 picks, I have, like, some of the best buttons in the game. Some really, really great utility. However, I don't have, you know, the nuclear mon that wins instantly. I need something with a slightly bigger number than, like, 105. So, as I was pondering what I wanted to do with, like, my 6th pick, the direction I wanted this team to go, I was reminded of one of my favorite draft Pokemon of all time, of course, Groudon. So, Groudon has insane bulk, an insane attack stat, you know, Swords Dance and Rock Polish to get to +2 attack and +2 speed very quickly. It's also a very good support mon in general. And it's just a mon I really, really like a lot. However, unfortunately, and I did check beforehand, Groudon is banned in PDD. I don't know why they would do this to me. They allowed Dragapult, so I assumed they would allow Groudon, but unfortunately not. So I went to Groudon's Pokemon Showdown page, and I looked at these absolutely delicious numbers. 100 HP, 150 attack, 140 defense, alright Spadef and speed. And I'm like, wow, if only I could have a Pokemon this bulky and this strong that could also boost its attack and speed, I would be in pretty fantastic shape. And then I got an idea, a rather evil idea. And so with my 6th round pick, I selected Baxcalibur. Now, I was crunching some numbers, and Baxcalibur in Snow, if you don't invest in its defense, if you invest, it actually is even more drastic, but an uninvested Baxcalibur in Sun has the equivalent base defense of 147. This gives it an effective base stat total of 655, coupled with the fact that Baxcalibur already is the pseudo-legendary with the, like, most blessed stat spread, in that it has a dump stat and 75 special attack, so its bulk and attack are through the roof. It has both the highest attack and lowest special attack of the pseudo-legendaries because of this. So it doesn't really have, you know, special options, but on the physical end, you know, it's a nuke. But, you know, physical attackers can get burned, not Bax. Thermal Exchange is a really, really great ability for denying fire types. It doesn't make Bax immune to fire, in fact Bax doesn't even resist, but clicking fire moves into a Bax feels about like one of the, you know, scariest things you can do, because this is a mon that snowballs and gets out of hand rather quickly. Dragon Ice is an absolutely, absolutely insane typing, and as you can see, it only has 5 less attack, 3 less speed, and 4 less Spadef than Groudon, with that beautiful base 115 HP, and Dragon Dance. So this is basically a better Groudon in Snow. I'm convinced. Moving on. I needed another Terra Captain for this team, because you need to have 2 to 3. And I was already using most of my points with the Cyclizar. And Cyclizar wasn't originally going to be a Terra Captain for this team, but I decided if I was bringing Cyclizar every week anyway, because it was Rapid Spin, I wanted to have the option to use the broken mechanic every single week. So I decided to make my primary captain Cyclizar. And then I went to my other league that I run with KJ for inspiration. And if you look at this doc here, somebody got 20 kills with a Jolteon. And that somebody was me. Now, unfortunately, I can't afford the Terra points to make the Jolteon, like, truly cracked. This was Ice Fairy Electric. This is gonna be Ice Bug Electric. Still resists fighting, and actually resists ground as a bug type. Remember Signal Beam? Jolteon has Signal Beam back now. Oh my god, it's broken. But yeah, Jolteon's just a really, really fast mon. It's a great sweeper. So, you know, it and Bax sort of have the role as, like, the main win condition of the team. Jolteon also is just good in Gen 9 now because it actually learns more attack coverage moves than, like, Shadow Ball. Because it got Alluring Voice and it got Sword Power. So you can actually run a set with, like, Calm Mind and 3 attacks of different types, even if you don't Terra it. And also, I failed to mention this with Lando I, which actually becomes unwallable with it. But Lando I and Jolteon also both abuse Cloaking Snow for Weather Ball. With Lando I, like, now able to two-shot basically every Pokemon in the game with that added to its repertoire. And Jolteon just being insanely fast Bolt Beam spamming Mon. If I'm Terra Ice, I probably might still run Terra Blast on it, just because it's a bit more reliable, but it's still an incredible, incredible move and Pokemon. Oh hey, there's Samurai Hisui. That makes me happy. Alright, so for my next pick, I decided to go with Whimsicott. Now, Whimsicott is a pretty fast mon. It has, like, base 114, 113 speed, I believe. Actually, I think it's like 116. You know, I have Whimsicott's page up here, but it doesn't really show the speed stat, which is weird. Yeah. Whimsicott, its main draw is, you know, it's a fast mon. It's a fast prankster mon. And what that means is it uses its prankster moves before the opponent hits you with priority moves. And it also means that Whimsicott is the best prankster mon at dealing with dark types because it's also a fairy type and outspeeds them and moonblasts them in the face. It's a very underrated offensive mon because Moonblast is the most stacked move in the entire game. Like, nothing has its combination of power and accuracy with a secondary effect and no drawback. Like, Moonblast, I hate it. I could go on an entire Play Rough Moonblast rant, but I'll avoid it for now. But yeah, Whimsicott gets a wide variety of support moves, including, like, I just recently learned it gets Taunt. I've used it for 2 entire seasons, and I never knew it got Taunt, which is really weird. You would think that me, the true Whimsicott enjoyer, would know it got Taunt, but for some reason, I've never felt the need to click Taunt. I'm not entirely sure why. You know, it could be really for any reason. I'm not really sure why it just slipped my mind. But anyway, it gets another excellent support move in Stun Spore, which is a bit less accurate than Thunder Wave, but because Thunder Wave can miss anyway, you know, say la vie. But yeah, so Whimsicott, really cool mon on the team. It's the second ground resist along with Lando I, and it's very good at beating setup sweepers, dropping the bit. Now, another mon I got to deal with a couple other more specific setup sweepers is Tauros Paldea Blaze. I keep calling it Tauros Paldea Fire, but apparently it is Blaze. Yet it does not have the ability Blaze. Curious. Yeah. Tauros is cool because it is the one fighting type that Lily didn't draft. And it's a really good mon at beating physical fire types. I didn't think that this team struggled in particular with special fire type attackers because Cloaking is effectively a resist for most special moves. And Samurai Hisui loves running Assault Vest because all of its moves that do things are attacks because it's broken. And so Assault Vest lets it handle, like, special fire types as well. And, like, unless they're using, like, Fire Blast, like Flamethrowers and Lava Plumes don't really bother Bax at all, or an Untered or Terra Dragon Cyclizar. But the physical fires, like Cinderace, Gouging Fire, Infernape, needed something with a bit more defense. And in that we found Tauros Paldea Blaze, firefighting, the starter typing. 100 speed is actually pretty good. I didn't look at its stats until after I drafted it, because I didn't want to, like, jinx it. I did the same thing with Bax. It's been a fun, like, thing where I decide I want him on and then learn what it does this draft. It's worked out pretty well, I think. But yeah, it gets Raging Bull, which can destroy screens, which is great because I love mons that destroy cheese, because I hate being cheesed. But yeah. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one. Next up, we have the fun mons, because I was intending to take Araquanid, but it got taken. I'm not sure why someone would take a 6-point Araquanid early, really. Wow. But I was talking to my friend Clay, and he's like, you know, you should just do something fun with the last couple of picks, because everything is really covered. So I decided to take Alolan Sandslash. Now, Alolan Sandslash is cool, because it's really fast under snow, and also its bulk is really decent. Its defense is fantastic under snow. So it's actually a, like, marginal side grade to Tinkaton into some teams as my Steel-type Stealth Rocker. And it's also a second mon that clicks Rapid Spin, and another mon that has Utility Knockoff. And it's a decent, like, revenge killer / sweeper when it is paired with Glowking, and you know, I might bring Glowking to a few games, so might as well have something that really benefits from it. And so for my final pick, I'm committing the gamer sin of unoptimization. In that, I took a 1-pointer despite only having 2 points left. I know. I'm disappointed in me too. But look at this little guy. I can't say no to this face. Originally, I was going to go with Toucannon because it's a Trick Room abuser that is immune to 2 of Glowking's weaknesses, and I thought like a low-tier Trick Room mon was the one thing this team is really missing. And then my friend Tago pointed out to me, why don't you just run Trick Room with Trapinch, which is like the slowest mon in the game and prevents things from switching out. And I'm like, you know what? That's a darn good plan. So yeah, overall, very, very excited to use this team. Thank you again to KJ and the other admins for setting this up. Really excited. This was my first draft analysis. Don't everybody come liking this video at once. You can check out my other content. I do a lot of draft content for ISL, and I do this content for PAC at the moment, gearing up for the playoffs and that, so check out that. Yeah. See ya!